Someone across the room yawns. You didn't feel tired a second ago. Now you can't stop yourself. Your jaw stretches open before you even decide to let it. But the real answer for why this happens is far stranger than tiredness spreading through a room. You've been told your whole life that yawning means you're sleepy or bored, or that your body needs more oxygen. None of that is actually true. Scientists have tested it. Oxygen levels don't change the rate at which you yawn. Boredom doesn't explain why a yawn can leap from one stranger to another in under a second. Something else is happening in your brain, and it's older than language, older than fire, older than the modern human skull. To understand it, you have to go back to a small, unglamorous corner of psychology that almost nobody studies. In the 1980s, a researcher named Robert Provine sat in ordinary places like classrooms and waiting rooms and simply counted yawns. He wanted to know one thing. Why does watching someone else yawn make you yawn too? What he found changed how scientists think about the human brain's wiring for connection. Provine discovered that contagious yawning wasn't random. It followed a pattern. The closer your relationship to the person yawning, the more likely you were to catch it. A stranger yawning across a subway car barely registers. A close friend yawning next to you is almost impossible to resist. Your brain, it turns out, is not just watching a mouth open. It's measuring social distance. Why would a mouth stretching open say anything about closeness at all? Here's where it gets strange. Decades later, a primatologist named Frans de Waal, working with researcher Matthew Campbell, ran a version of Provine's experiment on chimpanzees. They showed chimps videos of other chimps yawning. The chimps yawned back, but only certain chimps. The ones who caught the yawn were almost always the ones who were bonded to or familiar with the chimp in the video. Strangers barely triggered a reaction at all. This wasn't sleepiness spreading through the group. This was something closer to a signal, a silent broadcast that says, "I am tuned to you. I notice your state. I mirror you." Think about what that means for a moment. A yawn isn't really about your lungs. It's about your radar for the people around you. So where does this radar come from? To answer that, you have to imagine your ancestors, tens of thousands of years ago, sleeping in the open, exposed to predators, entirely dependent on the group around them for survival. A lone human on the savannah was a meal. A group of humans, alert together, resting together, waking together, was much harder to kill. Here's the theory that a growing number of researchers now take seriously. Yawning may have evolved as a synchronizing signal. When one member of a group grew tired, a yawn would ripple outward, resetting the whole group's alertness at the same time. If everyone drifts towards sleep on the same rhythm, everyone wakes and stays vigilant on the same rhythm too. A staggered, uncoordinated group, some half asleep, some wide awake, is a vulnerable group. A synchronized one is not. In other words, that involuntary stretch of your jaw might be a fossil of ancient teamwork, a leftover survival tool from a time when falling asleep at the wrong moment could get you killed. But the story doesn't stop at sleep. There's a second layer to this, and it's the one that should genuinely unsettle you. In 2014, a team of researchers led by Elizabeth Cerulli at Duke University studied contagious yawning in adults and found something unexpected. Age mattered, personality mattered, but most strikingly, empathy mattered. People who scored higher on empathy measures were more likely to catch a yawn from someone else. The connection was there, small but real. Your yawning reflex may be quietly reflecting how wired you are to feel what other people feel. Now flip that finding around, because this is where it turns unsettling. Researcher Atsushi Senju led studies looking at contagious yawning in autistic children, whose capacity for certain forms of social mirroring can differ from neurotypical peers. His team found that autistic children were significantly less likely to catch a yawn from a video of someone else yawning compared to neurotypical children, not because they were less tired, because the automatic social mirroring that makes a yawn spread from one person to another operates differently in their brains. Suddenly, your yawn stops looking like a lung reflex and starts looking like a window into something you never signed up to reveal. Every time your body catches someone else's yawn, it's quietly reporting how emotionally tuned in you are to the person standing near you. And this is the part almost nobody notices. Watch a room the next time a yawn spreads through it. Notice who catches it and who doesn't. Notice how it jumps fastest between people who like each other and slowest, or not at all, between strangers. You are watching a live map of social bonds, drawn in real time by involuntary human bodies. There's a physical mechanism behind all of this too. Brain imaging studies have pointed to a network involved in what scientists call automatic imitation, closely tied to regions responsible for recognizing and mirroring other people's actions and emotional states. When you see a yawn, a part of your brain doesn't just observe it, it rehearses it. It runs a simulation of what that action would feel like in your own body, and sometimes that simulation completes itself, and your jaw opens before you've made a single conscious decision. You are not deciding to yawn. Something older than your decision-making is deciding for you. This is worth sitting with for a second, because it means your body is running background processes you have zero awareness of. Right now, without your permission, some part of your nervous system is scanning the people around you, measuring closeness, tracking emotional tone, syncing your physical state to theirs. You feel like a single, unified person, making conscious choices all day. But a piece of you has been operating on ancient automatic group logic the entire time. Logic built for campfires and shared watch shifts, not office meetings and video calls. And here's the twist that makes it stranger still. This same mirroring system that makes you yawn when your friend yawns is thought to be connected to the same broader network responsible for empathy itself, for your ability to wince when someone else gets hurt or tear up when someone else cries. The same wiring that makes you catch a yawn may be quietly running underneath your capacity to care about other people at all. So the next time you feel that pull in your jaw because someone near you yawned, you're not just tired, you're being read and reading them back through a channel that has nothing to do with words. Someone across the room yawns, and without meaning to, you answer. It isn't sleep spreading through the air. It's 10,000 years of watching each other's backs, quietly, invisibly, still running in the background of your body today.